The mission statement of the EPA is to protect human health and the environment. Can you assure the American public that all this deregulation is not going to have an adverse impact on people and the environment?
Absolutely. We have to both protect the environment and grow the economy. It's what the American people demanding. They're demanding of us. They want us to make sure that we're applying common sense. Over the course of the last couple of years of the Biden administration, there were a lot of regulations that were brought over the finish line that were targeting entire industries. And when the American public went to vote last November, they were talking about economic concerns about struggling to make ends meet. That includes the cost of being able to heat their home, the choice of whether or not to be able to heat their home or fill up their fridge with groceries or afford prescription medication, the ability to get jobs. What we've also heard are the costs of compliance, which amount into the trillions, and what that does to the American economy as well. So going into this process, I don't prejudge outcomes. I'm not allowed to under the Administrative Procedures Act. We will have a process that includes public comment, and we would encourage the public to weigh in when they have that opportunity.
Last month, you also announced that your agency is proposing changing the waters of the U.S. And of course, those are subject to regulation under the Clean Water Act and historically set standards that the EPA can address pollutants in our drinking water, including forever chemicals known as PFAs. I bring that up because during your time as a congressman, you advocated for legislation to address those dangerous PFAs in our water. Can you talk about the specifics of what waters could be now excluded from EPA regulation and why?
Okay, so the first thing on the waters of the U.S., the United States Supreme Court, in a decision called Sackett, put out prescriptive language saying what should be considered a water of the U.S. And what we're going to do is get the federal regulation in line with the Supreme Court decision that came out. Right now, across the country, the map of 50 states are operating under different definitions of what is a water of the U.S. And there are farmers and ranchers and other landowners and they don't know whether or not water on their land is a water of the U.S. They have to go hire an attorney or someone else to tell them whether or not they have waters on their property. So on that front, we want a simple definition for the entire country so that people understand whether or not there's a water of the U.S. on their property. It's also important to some governments that weighed in as well. With regards to PFAS, very important issue. And we have to ensure that we are tackling it. I was a member of the PFAS task force when I was a member of Congress. I represented the district with a bunch of PFAS issues. I've heard some feedback from members of Congress as it relates to PFAS. One example is that there are compliance dates coming up where there are local water municipalities that are saying that they're going to have trouble meeting those particular deadlines and they're looking for assistance. So I've heard that from members of Congress. Now that feedback from members of Congress, it's important. Something else they talk about is called passive receivers. So a local water municipality would have to pay for the PFAS cleanup and then they pass it off to their consumer. And that is against the principle of polluter pays. Instead of making Americans pay to clean up PFAS from their own drinking water, the responsible party should be paying. And in many cases, the responsible party is the federal government.
I want to turn